Morning, we're on Revelation chapter 13, and we're just going to be learning a bit more about the beasts and the Antichrist and obviously Satan, who's behind all these different systems. It becomes a bit more complicated as we look at the different parts of Satan's world empire, and as he takes all his forces and tries to take out, first of all, Jesus, the church, and all those that are affiliated. But in verse 1 it says, "And the dragon stood on the sand of the seashore," and as we know, the dragon is Satan. "Then I saw a beast coming up out of the sea," and this is the same beast in chapter 11, which gives authority to really persecute the saints. And so we're going to learn a bit more about this beast. It says, "Coming out of the sea, having 10 horns." And if we look in Revelation 17 and Daniel 7, we can see clearly that these 10 horns are 10 kings. So there's 10 kings behind this beast. So this beast represents 10 kings. And it goes on to say, and 7 heads. Okay, the 7 heads are a bit more tricky to understand, but what we do know is that on these heads and on the horns were 10 diadems, which were 10 crowns, and on his heads were blasphemous names. And so these kings try and take over God's place, really. Ultimately, the Antichrist tries to be not only against Christ, but he tries to take the place of Christ, and he tries to rule eventually from God's temple in Jerusalem and set himself up to be God and set himself to be worshipped as God. And that's where it's all going. And ultimately, that's the greatest form of blasphemy. Daniel refers to this as the abomination of desolation. Verse 2, "And the beast which I saw was like a leopard, and his feet were like those of a bear, and his mouth like the mouth of a lion." And so these great beasts, which they would have known in that area of the day, and which we know well in Africa, are powerful beasts, not small beasts, beasts that have a lot of power to destroy. And so in Daniel, these same beasts are mentioned in Daniel 7 as separate beasts, but here it's combined into one big, powerful beast. The power of the king of the jungle, the lion, the leopard who can just through the night also has power to stealthily catch its prey. And then obviously the bear, which we don't have here in Africa, but a mighty, powerful animal. And so this powerful beast, blasphemous, has the authority of the kingdoms of this time. So Satan is behind all of this. As it says, he's the one who is behind the two beasts. Now you'll see another beast. "Then I saw," verse 3, "on his heads as if it had been slain, and his fatal wound was healed. And the whole earth was amazed and followed after the beast." So of one of those heads, there's some miraculous thing that happens where this head would die and then be resurrected again. And the whole world is absolutely marveled at this, and they start to follow the beast. And so again, we see a great deception happening. And people won't look at these beasts in the sense of something ugly or horrible, something to be scared of. They'll be almost praising these things. These things will be given, these beasts will be given an authority, but also they'll be very sly in the way they work. So it won't be something that we'll recognize easily. And so we need to be careful that we don't get deceived. So even if we go back to Matthew 24, it gets repeated at least 3 times. Don't be deceived in the end. And so let's really pray for wisdom as we go through these scriptures, because it's easy to get deceived. But we trust that you have a wonderful day. God bless.